Have you ever sat in silence, wondering why she said yes to him so fast and why she barely noticed you? Why do some women surrender to certain men almost immediately, without resistance, while others are met with distance, coldness, or polite rejection? It's not about looks, it's not about money, it's not even about confidence, at least not the kind people talk about. It's something far more subtle, far more energetic, and far more non-stoic. Let's go deeper, through the words of Marcus Aurelius and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. First of all, we begin with an uncomfortable truth. A woman doesn't choose a man based on what he says. She chooses based on what she feels when he's in the room. Not the words, not the gifts, not the tactics. She feels his essence, his emotional weight, his energetic signature. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Most men try to control the outside, how they look, what they say, what car they drive, how smooth their text game is. But the Stoic man, he controls only what he owns, his inner world. And that changes everything. A man who is emotionally still, who doesn't flinch when a woman tests him, who doesn't perform for her validation, he becomes a calm force in her chaotic world. He doesn't try to win her. He doesn't chase her approval. He simply is Aki. And that presence, that stillness, Ibham, pulls her in before she even understands why. Second, a man ruled by desire is easily dismissed. But a man who rules over his desire, he becomes dangerous in the most attractive way. Marcus said, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." Modern translation, you don't have to react. You can choose. You can see a beautiful woman, feel the desire rise, and still remain in control. That's what women notice, not the compliments, not the effort, but the man who desires her, yet remains unshaken. It tells her something rare. This man is not seduced by beauty. He's grounded in intention, not impulse. And when a woman sees that, she wonders, what is it about this man that's so still, so focused, so different? And that question, that aura of mystery, becomes attraction. Third one, many women are starved for a man who listens without needing something in return. Not the one who nods so she'll like him. Not the one who feigns interest just to get her into bed, but the one who is actually present. Stoicism is all about awareness, to observe without judgment, to stay rooted even when the world around you is spinning. Most men don't do this. They're in their heads, rehearsing lines, watching for signals, seeking outcomes. But the Stoic man, he's here, in the moment, fully. And women feel that in their body. Because when a man is truly present, she doesn't feel like a target. She feels like a woman, seen, heard, safe. And in that safety, sometimes she lets go. Not because he manipulated her, not because he played a role, but because his presence reminded her what real masculine energy feels like. Fourth, some men want her for her body, but the Stoic man, he wants nothing. He is content, centered, focused on his path. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So what does this mean for attraction? It means some men walk into a room and seek to take energy, approval, validation, but others walk in with nothing to prove. They aren't there to win anyone. They're just one being, Iwano. And that, ironically, is why women offer themselves to such men, quickly and deeply, because they're not being pursued like a prize. They're being allowed to choose with full freedom, and the absence of pressure opens the door to real connection. Fifth, there's the matter of rejection. What happens when she's not interested? What happens when she picks someone else? That's where the real Stoics is revealed. Marcus Aurelius said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." A Stoic man doesn't collapse. He doesn't spiral. He doesn't complain to friends or post bitter quotes online. He breathes, he observes, and he says, "This woman is not for me." That's all. No drama, no resentment, no victimhood, because rejection doesn't define him, it refines him. And here's the secret most men miss. Women watch how you respond to rejection, because that shows your emotional maturity. The man who responds with silence, dignity, grace, he becomes 10 times more attractive than the one who tries to argue or guilt trip her. Why? Because he's no longer ruled by emotion, he is stoic. And that, my friend, is rare. Sixth, let's talk about why some women sleep with some men instantly. Not because they're shallow, not because they're easy, but because they felt something real, something alive. And realness? That's intoxicating. You see, in the modern world, women are constantly filtering. Who's lying? Who's playing games? Who just wants control? But every now and then, a man appears who doesn't chase, doesn't perform, doesn't manipulate. He's just still, focused, honest, grounded. And when that man looks at her, not to conquer her, but to see her, her defenses collapse, and something ancient, primal, and deeply emotional happens. She feels safe, enough to let go, sometimes instantly, not because she's impulsive, but because he made her feel what no one else could, trust without tension. Seventh, let's end where most men never even begin, mastery of the self. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations for fame. He wrote them to stay centered in chaos. So what does this mean for you? Stop trying to be liked. Start becoming disciplined. Stop trying to get a woman to choose you. Start choosing yourself every single day. Because the truth is, you don't need to get women. You need to build a life that women feel drawn to enter. And when you live that way, when your peace is louder than your ego, when your silence speaks more than your words, when your focus is greater than your hunger, some women will sleep with you without hesitation. Not because of your game, but because your presence reminded them of something they forgot. Real men still exist.